Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for underground Bible study that's fresh, organic, and artisanally made. And this week, we're looking at Psalm 101. 101. That'll be our psalm this week. 8 verses long. We're going to talk about all 8 verses this week. And just as we looked at Psalm 100 last week and we saw those imperatives, I hope you heard the broadcasts for Psalm 100 last week. This week, we don't have any imperatives, but what we have are imperfect verbs that are showing us a confession from a heart that is humbled to seek the Lord. And so we're going to look at all of that this week. We'll get into the verbs and how this really could be our confession. We could adopt this for ourselves, actually. There's so much material here. I hope that you don't miss a single broadcast day this week. Psalm 101 is just that amazing. Well, we'll begin with the superscript. It tells us that this is of David. It says this is a Psalm of David. And so a Psalm of David, we've seen that before, identifies our author for us. Seems tradition is pretty unified on this idea that David wrote this particular psalm. So we'll just stay with that. It doesn't give us anything else. There's nothing here about the choir master or any musical instruments or notation. Verse 1 will be our text today. I just want to read verse 1 for you today. I will sing of mercy and judgment. Unto thee, O Lord, will I sing. All right, this kicks us off now as we look at how different this psalm is from the previous psalms we've looked at. We begin with verse 1, and you'll notice the Lord's name is here, O Lord, and that should be in all caps in your Bible because that's the Tetragrammaton. This is God's name. We don't pronounce it. The Jews, when they read this, will say Adonai. They will not pronounce this as it is written, so that we respect that. We're going to follow that rule. And this is the Lord's name. Scholarship calls it the Tetragrammaton because there are 4 letters to this name, and that's the tetra part, and the grammaton is the word. So this is a 4-letter word, and we know what it means. This is the Lord's name. We'll just say Adonai or Lord, but it's always to be written in caps. You'll notice that the psalm begins with the Lord's name and ends with the Lord's name. From the city of the Lord is the way it ends. I will sing unto thee, O Lord. And at the end, in the city of the Lord. So we have a beginning and ending the psalm, but that's it. This is so unlike the other psalms that have come before it, because the other psalms really have been about the Lord. Here we have the psalmist beginning us with devotion of the Lord and ending us with the name of the Lord, and that devotion ends there. But it's unlike Psalm 100, where we have the Lord's name in 4 verses out of 5, and like Psalm 99 that has the Lord's name 7 times in 9 verses, because those psalms were about the Lord. The Lord is coming. He's going to judge us. He is the king and he reigns. In Psalm 100, we had all those imperatives telling us to sing to the Lord, to know the Lord, to serve the Lord, to make a joyful noise to the Lord. All of those imperatives, we talked about that last time, were important. This week, instead of imperatives, we have this very deep and beautiful confession of David, and he says, I will sing. And that translation of that verb is imperfect. That means we're talking about a future action. And we have 10 of those imperfect verbs here, all of them in the first person. So throughout this psalm, we have I will sing, I will behave, I will walk, I will set no wicked thing, I will not know, I will cut off, I will not suffer, I will early destroy. And so that imperfect idea, that there's this future action that the psalmist wants to take, he's basically saying, I'm setting myself to do this thing, which calls to us a question, which I think begs of us a question and an answer. When's the last time you said to the Lord, I'm going to sing and I will behave myself wisely. I'm going to walk within my house in perfection. When have you, made that kind of commitment? You kind of nailed down some certain ideas. Don't have to be very many. We don't have very many in this psalm. but they're so profound and they're so meaningful. And ladies and gentlemen, there is a time for every one of us to nail down these ideas and to say, no matter what else, I will do this, and stay with it, because the Lord asks that of us. This is a beautiful psalm of devotion and commitment. And these words could be our words if we were to adopt them. If we were to read these for ourselves, what a beautiful thing that would be. Okay, I'm going to pick up right there tomorrow. I'll probably come back to verse 1 because I didn't get to a couple of things here. And we'll look at verse 1, 2, and 3 tomorrow on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.